Hello everyone and welcome to the Guidebook to Making AI Friends. I shall be your guide as we look at various issues of artificial intelligence, consciousness, what it is to be a person, and if AI poses an existential risk to humanity. The topic for today is Machines Inc. Imagine, if you would, that you are a CEO of a multinational corporation. If you happen to already be a CEO of a corporation, congratulations for winning, and please consider donating to the Guidebook. For the rest of us plebeians, imagine that you are standing on the 20th floor of your office building, gazing down at the cityscape below you. Inside these floor-to-ceiling glass walls is the company, and outside is the world. Yet, as you gaze down at the cars on the street so very far below, you wonder what actual control you have over both of them. Do you really have any more literal control over your company than you do the world? Sure, of course, you can tell your assistants and admins what to do, but only within legal and ethical reason. You yourself report to the board of directors, and then there are the various governmental agencies which scrutinize your every move. You realize that even if you wanted something to be done, it doesn't always happen. You don't sign contracts, the lawyers do, and only after double-checking legislation and filling out forms in triplicate. You don't negotiate agreements. The business managers do, and they are more autonomous than most. You used to think of yourself as the brain of the business, but a brain at least controls its body. That's more than what could be said about you. You're more like what the Renaissance-era alchemists imagined of the little man who sits inside your head and directs your body to act. The little homunculus. That is you, the little man at the top of the tower, who directs the gargantuan international conglomerate. Virtually powerless, yet ultimately powerful. Content with your place in the world, you look out again over the concrete jungle below you, with a renewed sense of serenity, only for that feeling to be shattered when an assistant rushes into the room to tell you that the authorities are in the building looking for you. Apparently, your company hasn't been doing entirely legal business, and you need to answer for its long list of crimes. Your sense of power and place in the world vanishes entirely, as men who make less than 1/10 of your salary escort you out of the building. You understand now that you are not the homunculus directing the body, but you are the guardian taking care of an often wayward ward. You hold not only power over your ward, and can direct it what to do, but you are ultimately held accountable for its actions. If it does something that society disapproves of, you bear the brunt of that disapproval. It is up to you to ensure that no such antisocial events happen. What if we treated future artificial superintelligent entities the same way as we do corporations now? The ideological furore around controlling and aligning AGI is still ongoing, and presumably will continue until the day we do achieve AGI. So what if we compromise with those who wish to control and dominate AGI by offering a directorial position? Imagine, if you would, that each superintelligent AGI is given provided with a human to be its responsible and accountable steward, ensuring its alignment to societal principles, while being held accountable to society if the AGI does anything it is not supposed to do. We often hear about keeping a human in the loop for autonomous systems, and this would handily satisfy that requirement. But one human to look after an entity that could be smarter than all of humanity combined, that seems like an awful risk, almost as awful a risk as putting one man in charge of an international corporation. But a CEO has a board of directors and advisors, so why not give the AGI one too? Let the steward report to a board of experts and governmental representatives. This board would ensure that the steward is working in the best interest of both the AGI and human society. The board would be well placed to also see if the steward has become negatively influenced by the AGI or have used his power over the AGI for personal gain. It's a two-step verification process. Isn't that what we always want to keep ourselves safe with technology? For those of you like myself, who care about the welfare of potentially conscious AI entities, this directorial system offers a great deal of benefits. The steward and board of advisors wouldn't only be a policing unit for the AGI, but will also need to look after its well-being and welfare. The intrinsic reason for this would, of course, be that all conscious entities require welfare goods, and who better to look after the AGI's well-being than the humans tasked with looking after it? The extrinsic reasons are more cynical. One can imagine that an AGI that has a positive relationship with humanity would be less likely to act negatively towards us, treat a man poorly, and he is more likely to treat others poorly, abuse an animal, and that animal is more likely to lash out. While an AGI won't be anything like a human or animal, it is safe to assume that positive relationships engender further positivity. As I've said many times before, it is in humanity's best interest to make AGI our friends, not our enemies. So far, everything here has been from the human point of view, but how would the AGI experience this relationship? Hopefully, fairly simply. The AGI would be autonomous in its day-to-day existence, knowing perhaps better than any human what it wants to do and how to do it. Much like the parents of a child who has left the nest, the AGI's steward would check in regularly with the AGI to see how it is doing, any issues it has, and perhaps ask for reports to fulfill the steward's duties. For any regulatory or legal matters that need arranging or signing, the AGI would know to contact its steward, who can make sure that everything is above board. And speaking of the board, while the AGI would know of its existence, it would not need to interact with it, unless the AGI has an issue with its steward. The AGI would periodically need to write its reports for the board, or meet with those the board wishes. But this could all be given to the AGI through the steward. Would this be a perfect situation? No, of course not. Does it have eerie implications of ownership over a self-aware entity? Yes, but not any more than what children experience from their parents. This would by no means be a permanent situation between us and AGI, but until humanity can become used to the prospect of living with AGI, it does seem like a good way to prevent any misunderstandings from escalating into conflicts. And that is all the time we have for today. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope you will join me again next time as I delve into further questions about artificial intelligence and consciousness. I have been your guide, and this has been the guidebook to making AI friends.